Hey y'all, here to vlog about Mob Wives Season 3, Episode 8. So it starts off with Renee and Drita meeting up, and they're catching up because Renee is back finally from rehab. So they're meeting up and, they're gossiping about Lee, and Renee is like, well, how's everything? And Drita is like, well, I don't know if you know, but I have a boyfriend named Lee, and he used to be married to this psychopath and he has daughters. Like, she was joking around. So Renee is like really, really happy for Drita. And I'm happy for Drita too. I'm happy that they're working it out. And Drita is like, well, she's not really worried about the relationship going sour like it did before he went to jail. For the simple fact that she feels like if he does mess up again and she has to walk away, at least she won't live with the regret of her not giving it a shot, at least trying to make it work. So I get that. So they were talking about Lee, and then they were talking about Renee's recovery, and Renee is like, she's like so tempted to relapse, but she's gonna try and this time be stronger about it. Like, she's not gonna give in to like temptation. And I'm like, that's good. Like, that's a step in becoming, and that's a step in recovery. Like, instead of you falling weak and victim to your addiction, you're fighting it. That's what you're supposed to do. So then we go to Big Ange and Carla, and they met up at the Drunken Monkey, and they're discussing Carla meeting Raquel or whatever. So as they're discussing that, she's like, the meetup went great. I just wanted to, find out how she was, see how everything is, how she is around my kids. So everything was good. So they were talking about that, and they were talking about shopping for the holidays and whatnot. And, Big Ange is like, well, I want to have a holiday party. I want to have a Christmas party. So she wants all the girls to be there. Of course, Carla is skeptical because for some reason, all the girls except Ange and Drita got beef with Carla. So Carla is like, well, I'm going to come there for you. I'm going to be on my best behavior. I mean, you and Drita are going to be there, so everything should be cool. But, me, Renee, and Love, we don't get along. Like, for some reason, Love doesn't like me because she feels like I've been talking about her. Me and Renee don't get along because of that last dinner we had. So, Ange just doesn't want the drama. She just wants all the girls to have fun. And I get that, but you gotta look at Carla's standpoint. Like, all the girls, for some reason, always have beef with her. So, the next scene goes to Love and Karen food shopping, and they're like, it seemed like they were getting like Italian cuisine or whatever, like that type of food shopping. And as they're discussing Karen going back to Arizona, so Karen is like, she needs to go back to Arizona to find out what's going on with Dave, because Dave is, he's just basically being sneaky. So, Love is like, well, I think it's good that you're going because that is your house and you need to find out what the hell is going on in your house. So then Storm calls Karen, and Karen is on the phone, giggling like a little schoolgirl. And I'm like, alright, Karen. So, Love is happy for her. And basically, Storm was asking her on a date. But Karen is like, well, was that a business meeting or is that a date? Bitch, you don't know the difference. If it was a business meeting, he'd have been like, yeah, Cameron, let's meet here such and such time to discuss this. He ain't saying that at all. First of all, Storm's voice was mad deep and Barry Whitish, and he like, yeah, what you up to? I love Italian food. Flirting on the phone, basically, and Karen is like, was that a business dinner? No, do-de-do-do, that was a date. He was asking you on a date, dingbat. So Love was like, I have to tell you that was a date, that wasn't a business call. So I'm like, Karen is just she's super rusty. So the next scene goes to Big Ange and Drita, and they're meeting up. It looked like a tire shop, and Drita got these rims with Lady Boss on, like the circle in the rim. It says Lady Boss, and she said Lee gave her that nickname, so she got that on her rims, and she's so excited to put it in the car. So as they're waiting for the rims to be put on the car, they're discussing Lee or whatever. And Drita feels like when she had nothing, Lee was there, he took care of her, he gave her the world. Now that Lee is home from prison, she's going to do the same for him. because right now he doesn't have anything, so she's gonna take care of him. And I'm like, you know what? That's a wife. That's what a wife does. When her man is down, she picks him up. You know, and the same with Lee. Lee gave her the world when they, you know, in the beginning. So, I mean, I'm happy for Drita. I really am. And well, she said she's gonna get Lee a car, and she's gonna get her. I think she said her right boob, because I think Drita has a boob job. So she said she's gonna get her right boob fixed because it's messed up, and you know. Big Ange is like, okay, well, you just getting everything. New car, new boobs. I'm like, yeah, you ain't playing. She's like, I just want to make sure I always look good for him. I'm like, all right, Drita, you do the damn thing. You get the Wifey of the Year award, because I'm pretty sure Lee is going to be doing cartwheels and somersaults all over that house because you doing it. So they're talking about, you know, her sex life or whatever. And just like, how was your sex life? And she's like, there is no sex life. He lives in the halfway house, and from the halfway house he goes to work and back to the halfway house. Like, there's no break in between. It sounds like he can't really visit them like he wants to. So, you know, Ange is like, well, you need to go to his job, and you need to get in a quickie. And I'm just like, you know what, Ange? You are a mess. She was like, I've had sex on airplane bathrooms where it's nice and cozy and tight. And I'm like, Ange is a mess. I love Big Ange. So the next scene goes to Karen and Storm on their date. Poor Karen lost her voice. She said she woke up and her voice was messed up. But, you know, Storm was like, it's no problem. You know, we'll still continue to date. We'll still have fun. So they're just talking. And, you know, they're attracted to each other. And, you know, Karen basically feels like she feels kind of awkward because that's her business partner and she doesn't want to mix business and pleasure. Which makes sense, but at the same time, if he likes you and he's attracted to you, go for it. Just see where it goes. Like, even if it's nothing serious, just, you know, keep in mind that y'all do have a business together. Like, regardless if your relationship work out or not, just remember you have to have a professional relationship at the end of the day. If y'all decide to pursue a personal relationship, then by all means, like, it's no big deal. So, you know, Storm is like, well, we just talking right now. Like, he's like, I'm playing the field or whatever. And she's like, what's your favorite base? He said home base. And she said her base is the outfield. So he was like, I think he said something like, that's not a base. He said, you know what you get in the outfield? All the outfield get is balls. I was dying. And Karen was like, I wasn't even trying to make like a sexual innuendo, but here it is. It's awkward because we talking about baseballs and balls. I'm like, that's a mess. So then they started talking about kids, which is nice because some men, they don't bring that up. And the fact that he brought it up, he asked about her daughter, score. Like, that's good. He asked about Karina, she asked about his daughter, and they just started talking about kids. And, you know, the date seemed like it went pretty well. So, you know, Karen was like, well, if we could grind together, we could shine together. I'm like, yeah, y'all, they make a cute couple, you know, and Karen love her some black men. She love her some black men. I'm like, go, girl. The Storm is a nice-looking dude for her. He's not ugly or anything. He is a nice-looking dude. He's not in the mob lifestyle. He owns a business. You better hop on that, literally and figuratively. So the next scene goes to Ramona. She's at the bank. And she went to go into her safety deposit box to get the ring that Joe gave her before he went to prison. So she's there, and as she's leaving, she calls Karen and leaves her a message telling her that she needs to speak to her. So, you know, in the earlier episode, Ramona revealed that she was engaged and the only people that knew were her kids. So she wants to tell Karen because her and Karen are the closest. So, when Karen came to her house later on, she's discussing. First of all, the ring is pretty, but it looked plain to me. Like, it was a big rock. Like, it, you know, the rock was big, but it looked a little plain Jane. Like, when she first pulled it out and showed it, it looked like one of those rings from like the Cracker Jack box, or, you know, from the little quarter vending machine or whatever. That's what it looked like. But, I mean, when she was at the party and it was up close, it was a nice ring. It's a pretty ring, you know, for her, whatever. So Karen came in and they were discussing Joe applying for bail and possibly getting it, and she's like, if he does do, if he does get bail, it's like $5,000 to $8,000 a week, so he would only be able to do 1 week, and for that week they would go and see the family, see her, and then possibly get married. Like, she slid that in there. So when she said that, Karen was like, wait, what? So she's like, yeah, we're gonna get married. And Karen is like, no, you're lying. She's like, no, I'm telling you the truth. He proposed to me. So Karen was a little upset that she got engaged and didn't tell her, but she's basically like questioning Ramona, like, his case is serious. Like, he could get years on top of years with the crime. So are you sure this is what you want to do? So Ramona's a little upset because she expected Karen to be a little bit more happier for her. And I mean, I get it, but you do have to think logic. Like, you have to put aside the fairy tale, and you do have to think, if this man is going to jail, how long is he going to jail? And Ramona even said it herself that he might go to jail 8 to 10 years. Are you willing to wait 8 to 10 years to marry him? Or if you do get married, are you willing to wait 8 to 10 years for him to get out? Like, that's a sticky situation. So Karen is basically like, you need to think with your head and not your vagina. Like, I'm giving you a reality check. I love you, or whatever. And Ramona is feeling like, now that Karen is no longer dealing with dudes like Dave, who's in a lifestyle, and she's, getting company from Storm, who's a guy who's not a mobster, she feels like now Karen is judging her situation. And I mean, I don't feel like Karen is judging her. I do feel like Karen is basically giving her the honest truth. Like, I don't feel like she's doing anything wrong. I mean, I guess it's the way that Karen said it that could have made it, her feel that way. So the next scene goes to Love on the phone with her ex-boyfriend. And why is this girl, I don't get it. Every time we go to Love in a scene by herself, she got all these ex-boyfriends calling her when she's with her dogs. I don't get it. But supposedly this is an ex-boyfriend she was with who, was the one she basically loved and was, committed to. But she, I guess she got scared and ran away from the relationship. Basically got commitment issues, but they on the phone telling each other how much they love each other, how much they wish it would have worked or whatever. So they still got love for each other, but the sad thing is that it'll be like a long distance thing, because he's in Vegas and she's in New York. So Love is like, she doesn't think that she would give up her life in New York because, this is all she knows. So basically it just seems like she's got a lot to think about, but it seems like he genuinely loves her. I mean, they were on the phone, so how he was talking, it seemed like he still loved her. So the next scene goes to them at Ramona's friend Elisa Marie, she's having this party where she sells furs and bags and whatnot. So this is right up everybody's alley. So Ramona is there first, then Renee, then Ange and Karen came. So they're there, and Big Ange wants to buy everything. She wants every fur coat that's there, because she's the boss. She loves spending money. So Karen and Ramona are bickering back and forth the whole time. And then the conversation with all the girls goes to men and loyalty, and then they were talking about marriage, so it shifted a little bit. And Karen was like, well, I think she asked Renee, how long did you wait for your husband to get out of jail? And Renee is like, she waited X amount of years. And Karen is basically like, okay, you see what I'm saying? Gesturing that to Ramona. And Ramona's like, well, she did the right thing. She stayed committed to her partner because she loves him. So, Anne just basically what the hell are they arguing about? I feel so out of the loop. So finally, Ramona's like, well, I feel like this conversation is geared towards me, so I'm going to just put it out there. Before Joe went into prison, before the feds got him, he proposed to me. So, she told him that, and they're all surprised and shocked or whatever. But Karen is Karen is basically all the girls are shocked, but they're congratulations. But you have to think, you have to think logically, like Karen was saying, he might be in jail for a while. So Karen is like, well, where's your ring? Go show them your ring. So she went and got the ring. She showed them the ring. It went from them telling her to think logically to the girls like, oh, congratulations. Oh, the ring is beautiful, blah, blah, blah. So, Karen is like, y'all are like crazy. Y'all are sitting up here feeding this girl BS, and she is, she's in denial. And I'm like, well, true. So, and just basically like, if y'all don't get married, the best thing to do is to just be engaged. Like, stay engaged and see what happens. Don't get married until everything blows over. But Renee is like, whatever is in your heart, however you feel, if you feel like you can deal with this situation, and go for it, get married, whatever. And it ended on that note. Karen is like, well, I don't agree with this marriage, or I don't agree with this situation, but she's my friend, I love her, so I'm going to support her. And it ended on that note. They continued the party. So the last scene is with Ange on the phone with Renee, and Renee is saying that she's not coming because she feels like she's at a point in her recovery where she doesn't want to put herself in negative situations, and she feels like if she sees Carla, she's going to get pissed and want to smack her, so she's not coming to the party, which I think is so catty. And then she was saying how she feels like a lot of the stuff Carla said hurt her. But it's like, Renee, you were saying stuff to Carla too. And Andrew's like, y'all were basically going tit for tat. You called her a whore. She called you a junkie. She's like, yeah, but she attacked my disease. You attacked her personal life. Like, you can't be wrong and strong. You called her name. You expect for her to just sit back and say nothing. You tried to hit a low blow. She hit a low blow back. Like, it's cattiness. And she's going to the party even though she know the odds are like against her. She ain't paying you no mind, so you do the same thing. But Renee is catty. And then Love called and said she's not coming because she was sick. At least she had a legitimate reason. So Ange is getting pissed because she's thinking like everybody is like flopping on her, which is how it always goes. Every time you have a party or something like that, people flop. It happens. So, that was the end of that episode. It was a pretty okay episode. It was a pretty good episode. Everybody's doing good. The next episode is, where they show the actual party and what happened. And it also seems like, Karen is she's going to Arizona to meet up with Dave and discuss the situation. And then in the end, I think her brother, he said something about how he may have a solution to get their father out of jail. So I'll be here to vlog about it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day. Peace.